I'm going to become a leather worker for the day. We are back in the heart of Birmingham visiting our friends at Wesley Richards. A few months ago, we witnessed their incredible craftsmanship making fine shotguns and rifles. And today we are back because I've been given the opportunity to learn some leather working and make a fine British bag. I cannot wait. It has been years since I've done any sewing, years since I've worked any leather. So let's get stuck in and hopefully not make too much of a mess of things. Alice, thank you so much for teaching me how to make a bag for the next couple of days. I'm so excited. What is the plan? What are we going to make?
So we'll be working on a bishop bag, which is one of our most popular satchel bags, and I believe you're wanting to do it in buffalo.
Yes.
Yep, so it'll be buffalo body, and then we've got a Dakota trim, so that's our smooth leather.
Brilliant. I will basically be a complete amateur, but I can't wait to get started on this. What is the first step?
So we'll be cutting out from the hides. We've got buffalo, and then we've also got some smooth leathers, so we'll be doing a mix of hand cutting and then press knives, and we can do it downstairs.
Super. So we've got two floors to the leather workshop. We've got up here, and you guys are making tons of beautiful leather products here as well as canvas products, but then you're doing most of the cutting downstairs?
Yep, so we do most of our cutting downstairs. We've also got a few of our machines downstairs, so I can introduce you to them. And then all of our construction is all done in this building here.
Should we go cut some leather?
Yep, let's do it.
All right. So, is this the patterns?
These are patterns. It's going to be confusing because the guy who used to work here who's retired was Polish, so all of our patterns are in Polish.
I'm sure that makes life really easy.
So we've got these patterns, and then you've also got press knives, so they keep in here, that we use for the smooth leather pieces that you've seen. So we'll be taking these, the straps for the bag, small buckle components, and then you've got the placket that goes for the inside zip pocket as well.
Oh, so this cuts everything in one go.
So usually we'll take these pieces and rough cut them, so this will need to split down to 1.4. So I'd usually rough cut this, take it to the splitting machine and pop it through there, and then use the press knife to cut it out afterwards. So this is our splitting machine. Turn this on. And then this machine, you need to have it sharpening as you're feeding the leather through to keep it like nice and even.
It sharpens it as it feeds the leather?
Yeah, so we'll sharpen the machine and you'll see it sparking, which means the blade is continuously sharpening as you're feeding through the pieces.
Oh, that's
so
crazy.
It's making sure it takes it off and nice and even, keeping the same consistency the whole way through. So we'll just feed that through there.
You're joking.
Oh, you're going again.
Oh, shoot! Is that right? Didn't
yeah,
ruin it?
that's fine.
How does that work? Where is the blade? You're sharpening down there, but it's cutting up here. What's happening?
The blade is on a massive band all the way through, so you've got two wheels either side of here, which the blade is wrapped around.
That's crazy. It's a giant bandsaw for splitting leather. Terrifying machine. Just imagining being skinned.
So this is a press knife machine, so we'll turn this on here, and then this will lift this part up.
It's like a massive chunk of plastic and a big press, and it's just going to push that die straight through it.
Exactly that. Yeah, these two buttons, if you press them, the whole thing will lower. Click that a couple of times and it'll drop down. So when you're choosing a piece of leather, we would normally avoid any scars like this, any really obvious vein lines like these that you see, any growth marks.
Any kind of preference this way or that way?
Yeah, so more so on straps and pieces like this where it is going to be taking weight, you'd want to cut it so it's going with the strength of the bag. Good luck.
Boom. That is a very satisfying machine. Oh, I love it. Awesome. So cool. Think of the time saving compared to doing that by hand. You typically start off with the kind of small components for the bag?
Yep, so we cut these out and then we would prep the edges, which consists of like beveling them, edge dyeing them, burnishing them, and then we'd go ahead and cut out the main body of the bag.
Awesome.
So I'll show you how to bevel these. So we'll be using these tools here. So you've got two different ones. You've got one which is 2mm, and then you've got one which is 1, so they're labelled on the end. We'll use the 2 for like the thicker leathers and then the 1 for like the 1.4 leathers.
Okay. These are gorgeous. These are really nice tools. You made that look a lot easier.
That's years of practice.
Yeah. How long have you been doing leather work?
So I didn't have any leatherwork experience when I started Wesley Richards, so I started here just over 6 years ago. And every leather experience I've got has been from here.
That is awesome. So no leatherworking experience, starting here, and then now you run this workshop.
Almost, yeah.
That's so cool. And your background is in fashion?
Yeah. So I studied fashion design at uni, so it's fashion design technology, which was a mix of design, construction, pattern making. It's also production and doing spec packs for factories. When I left uni, I went into fashion production, which was an awakening of how much I missed working with my hands, I think.
Really?
So I
Was it more time on the computer making tech packs than actually making anything?
Yeah, it was 100% doing that. I had slight bits of like fit meetings and product development, but it was almost all on the computer.
Yeah.
So I left there and came here, and it was,
That's awesome.
we've been here for 6 years.
Awesome.
So.
Oh, brilliant. All
I see all these tiny little bits.
I know. And look at your fantastic chips there.
So next we're going to take these to the sander, which is essentially a large burnisher, so it's got ridges in like this, and we're just going to smooth those pieces
Mechanical version of this then?
Yeah, essentially. So this machine has different height settings, so you can adjust it at the back. So I'm just going to loosen it here, and you want to take it down for the thinner pieces of leather, and just switch it on. And you're just going to gently put it through here to smooth off any rough edges from the beveling.
We're turning the edges from this to that.
So next we're going to be doing the vein lines on here. So you've got a set of dividers here. These are adjustable, but they should be set to about 4mm.
Okay.
And then we're just going to rest these on the edge of the leather and gently press down, and you're going to have a ductive vein line all the way down here. So we've got some edge dye here. So this is a mix of edge dye and lacquer. And we use one of these foam brushes, so you just want a little bit of product on there, and then we're going to be dyeing these edges, so you want to get it as smooth as you can, and making sure none comes onto the body of the leather as well.
Oh, sorry.
You bugger.
So when that's pretty much dry, you're going to take this burnisher and run that along, and you're going to get that nice shiny finish to it.
So every single component that's cut out needs to be edge dyed,
Yeah.
burnished,
Burnished.
every single thing, and there's dozens of these components.
Now we're going to take this hole punch tool, and we're just going to go over these. So these are slightly smaller than the hardware that we use. So you just want to get it nice and central. Just give it a gentle hammer. So we're just going to take this pattern now and then mark where we've got this hole. So this will be for a sand brown to go through for a fastening. And then we're going to take this tool here and line that up with the very end of that mark.
This tool is just gorgeous. But this is really fun to get off centre right after you've done all this work on the part. It's twisted. I punched it twisted. Goodness. How long did it take you to prepare all the components?
About 3 hours, so that's also doing the loops, sticking all the buckles, those sorts of things.
Needless to say, we would be here for about 3 weeks if I was doing all of that. So you've very kindly done some blue peter for us.
We have, yeah.
And we've got all the components prepped, but with the components prepped, you then work on the rest of the material for the bag?
Yep, so we'll cut out the body panel next.
Sweet. With the small components, we were working with regular cow leather, and we're now moving on to the buffalo hide itself.
Yep, absolutely. It's very
Gorgeous.
soft leather.
That is so soft. Feel that, Jamie. Yeah, feel the back of it. That's gorgeous. And so you don't use the press
Nope.
for the cutting of these larger components, only the small components. goes
Only
in
the
press.
small components, yeah. So selection of this, we'd usually save the really nice grain parts for the bits that are going to be on show, like the pockets and the main body panel, and then pieces like this where they're not so seen, you'd use a slightly flatter grain.
Okay.
Usually we'd look at the whole skin, pick the nicest parts, or save bits for other sections. And then you'll also see these notches in the pattern, so we're going to cut these, and they're reference points for where we're going to stick various pieces of leather
Okay.
or seams as well. There you go. Do you want to cut one of those?
I would love to have a go. One component cut out, great. And so then you've got all the patterns for the rest of them to cut out. Boom,
Yep.
boom, boom.
And then we'll cut out linings after that. So
Super.
there's linings and Alcantara as well. So we've got all of our canvases and linings here. So this is a custom lining that we've had made with one of our engravers. So I'm just making sure the pattern's lined up.
Back upstairs. So you've very kindly prepared all the components for my bag, because that's going to take more time than we have. You've skived down the edges, so these are thin. Thank you very much for prepping this.
You're welcome.
What is the next step?
So next we're going to start sticking on the smooth components and stitching. So we can start with the pockets. So we either tape things or glue them, but tape is easier.
And this is just to allow you to have it in spot for stitching,
Yep.
so it doesn't move around.
Yep. So then we'll take these to the machine and sew these on.
This is an absolute monster. This is bigger than any sewing machine I've scene.
So we're going to go in there and then use this vein line as a stitching reference. A piece of lining on the back there just for a bit of extra strength.
It just appeared out of nowhere. I had no idea the lining was there. And I was like, hang on, when did you do that?
Do you want to do the other one?
I'd love to.
Yep.
Oh, I'm going to make an absolute mess of this. I feel like I should probably like.
Do you want to do a bit of a test?
Yeah. Okay.
And then if you hold those threads nice and taut.
Slow and steady, jump in the deep end and all, and go for it.
Good luck, yep.
Almost went off the edge. Oh, almost went off the edge. This is not a given. That wouldn't get a passing grade, would it?
No, we'd have to redo that.
Even though we're just only getting started and I've made dog breakfast of most of it, it's very mesmerizing and like satisfying, gentle work.
Next step, we're going to put the rivets in here. So you've got a hole all the way through, and then we're just going to place this rivet in the back. So you just want to make sure this is nice and central in here, or otherwise it'll dent and it won't go in properly. Lightly do it, check it straight, and then you can hammer it in properly.
Happy?
Yep. So next step, we're going to attach this lining to the back of here.
So tape is a really important construction technique.
Yep, we use a lot of tape just to hold things in place while we're stitching them, really. And then we just want to do a stitch mark from here to here, which we're going to be stitching later on, but it's easy to do when it's flat. So next step is we're going to bind this top edge. So we've got some binding here, which is 20mm. So this is some of the skins that we used earlier, and it's been split into strips and joined together. So you'll see really light joins here where it's been joined.
Oh, like skived and then
Skived
glued
and
together.
then glued together,
And
yeah.
then that allows you to make this enormous roll of binding leather.
So you want to just cut it just slightly longer than the piece that you need, and then we're going to hammer a crease into this.
My goodness, I'm literally 4 times as slow as you at this. This is so brilliant. So now this folded over binding is going to capture the lining just like that.
So you should have a nice straight line on the back where it's caught.
I am petrified. All right, here we go. Great. Nerve-wracking. Promise I'll get quicker. Not much quicker, but I'll get quicker. Started out a little bit wonky. Thanks to your helpful direction, it then ended up a little bit neater and then got worse, presumably as I got tired. Here in the West Midlands, there is an incredible history of fine leather working, and I think it's just incredible that Wesley Richards is bringing it back. I love that people that love to make things here have the opportunity to make things and love doing it. It's only possible thanks to the patrons that want fine things like this, and it's also possible thanks to the brand identity that Wesley Richards has built and their incredible marketing. And every business needs great marketing, which is why if you're an artist or a craftsperson, I hope you build yourself a Squarespace website. You need a website that showcases your products in the light that they deserve. Squarespace is built for artists and makers, and they've got countless drag and drop themes that makes building a beautiful website an absolute no-brainer. You don't need coding experience, it's all drag and drop, and they've got some phenomenal AI tools to help make it that much smoother. You can sell unlimited physical or digital products. You can connect with your audience using Squarespace email marketing campaigns, track your analytics on the go on their mobile apps, and best of all, you can get a free trial to see how much you love it at squarespace.com/forge. And when you use code FORGE at checkout, you'll get 10% off your Squarespace purchases. That includes your domain purchase, because again, it's all in one. We love Squarespace. We love how it supports makers and craftspeople. Check them out in the description below.
Next, we're going to attach these two pieces together. So these are going to form the pockets, and then this is the behind part of the pockets.
I'll be lining that up on this piece, that notch, this line. This is so stressful. This is so stressful, just trying to get everything dialed exactly where it needs to be.
So next we're going to fold where these notches are here, so you want to just pinch them, and then we're going to lightly hammer them so that they match up.
That gives some
around
volume
here.
to the pocket.
Yeah, creates the shape of the pocket. Want to be matching up these edges, want to make sure that the curve's nice and flush and that you're matching these notches once you get round your corner.
is just complete laser focus. And like you're looking at one thing and then the leather is doing all of this and moving around and then you fall off the leather. Goodness, all right.
Next we are going to attach the pocket flaps. We've put the San Brown in and some bit of salamander to strengthen it.
What is salamander?
So it's a composite leather.
And that just kind of gives it some stiffness?
Yeah. So we're going to be gluing Alcantara on the back of these so that they form the shape of the pocket. And then you're going to use your hand just to ever so slightly curve it. You don't want too much of a curve.
Little curve, fold it around, a bit of this.
Okay, so you just want to trim off any excess Alcantara that's around the edges.
Okay.
Maybe get rid of that bit of glue.
So we're now preparing more binding to go around the edge of the pocket flap. How did yours end
I don't know.
Worried.
We have a day and a half for me to finish this bag, and it just barely looks like we scratched the surface. I am so slow. God, now we're sewing.
Next, we're going to put this to one side and we're going to work on the gussets.
So the gussets are the side bit here. Again, thank you, meticulously prepared.
And yeah, so this one wants to match up with the curved edge of here, and we're going to be attaching those together.
Righto, do you approve? So far.
Yep, so far so good.
Brilliant. What do you have everybody else working on at the moment? Like, what other projects are on the go here? I need a break.
We've got a few different things going on. I'll show you over to Sarah, who's working on a couple of gun slips.
So what are you working on at the moment?
I'm just burnishing the edge dye. I've just put 3 layers on each side. And I'm just going to burnish them to finish them off so they're nice and smooth and covered.
How long have you been working at Wesley?
So nearly 2 years now.
Is your background also in fashion, or have you get into it?
I did fashion design at Birmingham. I used a bit of leather with my final project, but it wasn't anything like this sort of leather. It was more like for clothing. So yeah, it was all new to me really.
And what's this bag that you're working on?
This is a Sutherland bag.
Yeah.
This is. It's probably one of the largest bags that we do, and probably one of the bags that takes the longest to make from start to finish.
How much time does it take to make that?
I'd probably say about 3 days.
This one's inside out right now?
This one's currently inside out. I've stitched the sides together, and now to cover this join here to make it look all nice and tidy, that's when we get this ribbon and we basically stitch this on the other side of there.
And that's what you're going to see inside the bag. Like if you look in the corners, you're going to be
Yes.
seeing this kind of flipped around the other way.
Yeah.
Is that the one that you've just finished up?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So once it's taken inside out, I can also open it up for you as well, so you can also see what I've just been working on. So you can see all the ribbon around the edges.
3 days.
I mean, it never used to take me 3 days. It would used to take me a lot longer than 3 days, but because I've made quite a few of them now, they take me. I'm a lot more speedier.
It's slow going at first, isn't it? Is your background also in fashion?
No, mine's fine art.
Okay.
Yeah, so before I started at this job, I'd never worked with a sewing machine before in my life.
So like on the job training,
Yeah.
you learn everything.
I had transferable skills,
Yeah.
but yeah.
And how long were you here before you would take on a project like this?
I'd probably say just under 2 years maybe.
What sort of projects did you start out on?
Smaller products, so you've got like the ammunition wallets, you've got like hip flasks, belts, just those sort of little
And
stuff.
that allowed you to kind of build the skills, get the
Yeah.
muscle memory, and then eventually they let you loose on this stuff. Thank you so much for sharing
That's
that with us. I
okay.
really appreciate it.
No worries.
Thank you. Well, I can't escape what I've got to do for much longer. So we're now going to be working on the strap components. Check out this awesome, thick, beautiful canvas strap. Woo! And I get to put my initials in gold on it.
Do you want it in a coloured foil or just...
A coloured foil.
So
we get to do a
there's-
coloured foil.
There's gold and black, we can
Gold,
just have
please.
see-through. Yep,
Gold, please. Okay. Ow, that's hot. Pressing.
not too hard.
Not too hard. Yes! It worked! Should I hammer more or?
Less, because if you hammer too much, it'll crack.
I should hammer less.
Well, that was fine.
Okay. Got it. me show you an example of failed craftsmanship. I'm looking at this with so much attention to detail, trying to make sure I do a good job of stitching that. But guess what? I didn't perfectly line this up. So look at the other side, stitched off the edge again. Alrighty, it's time to go back to the sewing machine. This is how the webbing gets attached. Alrighty. Do any of you keep count of how many bags you've made while you've been here?
I know I've probably made about 40 Bournebrook bags in the past few years.
And
So
that's
I've
the
been
big
only,
one?
I've been the only person that's done it, so I could look at the sales of all of Wesley's sales for those bags.
Wow. Check this out. Right here, that pad, if you push that pad out, this foot lifts. So that means that with the needle down, I can push the pad out, lift the foot, and then spin this around, which is what I need to do now, because I've got to go down this leg of the triangle, and then we'll do the same thing, boom, then back across, making the attachment to the webbing doubly secure. Foot goes up, twist 60 degrees. Gosh, I went one too far. Look at that absolute mess I left there. Bird's nest. My brain is absolutely fried from focusing. The timing, hand-feet coordination, everything, not a given at all. We've got the other bit of webbing threaded through the former, back on itself, double-sided tape to position it, stitch it in place. I am learning. Look at that. It's a strap, Jamie. You can see how that is going to become a bag. Okay, so this is going to go on the inside of that. So we've just stitched together this section of lining, which is going to line our gusset that we've prepared. And on the fabric, it's the same process as the leather. We're going to glue this down, flip it over, put 2 nice stitch lines in. Now I'm going to stitch this gusset to the inner panel, and by stitching along this line, as we stitch it along that curve, it then leaves all this extra material here, which is what then becomes the volume of the bag. Super interesting stuff, going from flat plane to 3D. You don't have a pattern that works, it's not going to happen. I get the sense that making a pattern would be a really interesting puzzle. To like go with this, you've got this idea of a 3-dimensional shape you want to achieve, and then bringing that to life, making the pattern. I think that'd be incredibly hard, but...
It's definitely the hardest part of the job, but the most satisfying and most rewarding. You definitely do have to have a good understanding of construction and a serious level of maths as well, to some extent, yeah.
What, to make up for all the allowances for the seams and like
Yeah.
keeping track of, okay,
Yeah.
you know, gonna need a centimetre here, or...
So you've got different allowances for curves and seams, and also making sure that all the panels do actually fit together, so a straight line forming into a curve. So we're going to do the same thing with the leather now. So you're going to be attaching the gusset to the pockets.
What kind of percentage through the bag do you think we are?
Maybe 70%.
That's good news. I'm really pleasantly surprised. I'm very grateful. Thank you for your tutelage.
You've got multiple layers, so you're going to be stitching this to these 3 layers.
wow.
So you're going to be going through about 6 layers of
So this is
leather
going to be
and top stitch.
4 seams holding that whole corner of the bag together.
Yeah, so that's reinforcing the gusset at the bottom.
That's nuts. That's not coming apart. That's a lot of seams.
It does seem to be a lot sooner.
Okay, so next we're going to hammer the seam. So we've got this block which we use just for like shaping around the corners.
And that's in preparation for doing our top stitch, right?
It is, yeah.
Is this like the most important stitch of the entire bag?
It's the most obvious if it goes wrong, no pressure.
Good.
And it's not something that you could necessarily unpick and then redo if it was wonky, because then you'd have holes that were visible.
Oh, extra good. How hard is it to come by the opportunity to make a bag like this and actually have this type of quality of construction in what you're making?
As far as I'm aware, I don't think it really exists in many places, not in the UK. We're very unique in the fact that one person does the product all the way through, which means it's easier to quality check. If someone makes a mistake, then they will, when they're making a product, call me over and say, like, is this okay? Should I redo it? And we have that, like, complete control, which I think also helps having quite a small team, so we can manage that on the spot rather than having tens or hundreds of employees to have to run these things by. So nothing leaves the factory without being perfect.
This is like as close as possible to leather work that an individual leather worker working for themselves making things for a one-off customer. It's as close as you can get, where it is, you know, it's a more commercial arrangement. You know, somebody can get something in a reasonable lead time. It's as close to it being a single leather worker making an entirely custom piece.
Yeah, exactly that. Which also gives us the scope to customise products as we make them. So we make everything to order at the minute. It's not bad at all.
Go on. Thank you very much. Hi Laura.
Hello.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, are you?
I'm doing very well, thanks. I'm having a great time learning about all of this. What has been on your workbench today?
So today I'm making an outer cover. So these are like extra packaging for the cases. So it's like a canvas trimmed with leather.
So it's the case?
For a case.
For the case?
Yeah.
That's awesome. So the finished thing looks like this, right?
Yep. So this isn't quite finished, but similar to this. So it's canvas trimmed with leather, and then the customer usually has like a plaque here with their initials.
And so every one of these that you make is kind of custom to the custom box that's made.
Yes.
How do you go from like a flat piece of canvas to making something that fits well?
So this is the paper pattern I started off with. So I just used my measurements to create this shape, yeah, and then trace this onto the canvas, cut that out.
And so from here, you've then been also working on these components?
Yeah, so these are the straps that will go with the outer cover, and then we've got some more leather bits already prepped. I'm not sure where they've gone. Will be stitched onto the canvas, and then the corners will be stitched together, the edge is bound, this is bound, so that's tricky.
You've got to bind these corners?
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for telling us more. I'll let you get back to work. Neve is also working away. Should we see what you're working on? Very nice to meet you.
And you?
Thank you very much for letting us all encroach on your workshop today. What have you been working on? What's on the bench?
These are 10 rounds, so these are ammunition holders. So I've been working on these. These at the moment are part builds. So they'll go into cupboards like this, ready for customers to order if they want initials placed on the back, so we keep them separate until ordered.
Okay, so you're like making a little bit of like part-built stock ready for then the customization?
So then they'll go together like that, and then the edges are prepped and they're all ready to be sent off and all done.
Would you say this is one of the simpler pieces that comes out
Yeah,
of
this is one of the first products that you train on when you start. I started here about 7 months ago, and this was one of the first products that I learned. They are quite simple, but you really do need to make sure that they are perfect because the stitching is so obvious on them.
Had you worked in this type of industry before?
No, so I studied garment technology at uni. I then worked as a tech for around 2 years, and then I started here at the beginning of this year. I hadn't worked on leather like this before. I've done small bits, but nothing to this level.
And this is obviously a much more reasonable way to learn this stuff than trying to like go straight to making a bishop bag.
Yeah.
You know, like that's not how you'd learn here on the
No,
job.
so we
You've
start
gotta
small and build up and up.
Thank you so much. Let's get back to me actually making a bag that's way too complex for my abilities. Now, the inside goes in the outside.
So the top edge needs some binding, so we're just going to measure this length.
I've just ruined the whole thing. No. I've been putting this on, and I thought, oh, I just went a little bit wonky on the stitching, but aside from that, all good. But no. What did you spot that I've done, Alice?
So your stitching here has not caught any of the leather underneath, and you've gone straight through the binding, so I think that might be something you need to redo.
Yes. Start again. I thought I'd done a pretty decent job as well. Done the same thing again. If it was easy, it wouldn't be special. If it was easy, everybody would have a beautifully handmade leather bag. Thanks, Jamie. Oh no, I definitely missed it. Oh gosh, it's so close. I made it all this way, almost to the end. And then Jamie said, "Don't mess it up now, you're almost there, Alec." And I said, "Thanks, Jamie, appreciate the support," sarcastically. And then I messed it up. Hallelujah. We're now going to position the edge of our lining with the edge of our gusset. Where does this buffalo hide come from?
So we get ours from a tannery in France, and then the rest of our leathers are mainly sourced from Italy.
So were these happy French cows?
Buffaloes. Okay, so once that's done, we can put this to one side and then we can do our internal pocket.
This bad boy, super. We positioned that with some double-sided tape yesterday. A zip, perhaps?
Yep, you'll need your zip and then you'll need this piece of lining.
God, what a brilliant trick to get this all lined up. Now we stitch it together.
I'm just going to fold that back to make the pocket. So we can put that to one side now, and then we're going to attach these two smooth bits of leather onto our back panel.
Got it. So this is part of the closing flap.
Yep. Yep, so next we're going to be putting the plaque in. So you should have one of these branded plaques with the inset piece of leather, and then we've got the holes that are punched out here. And that's just for our Sam Browns to go in there.
What is a Sam Brown?
So Sam Brown is one of these pieces of hardware.
Okay.
So that's where we're going to close the back with the strap closure. Through the back there, need a tiny drop. If you put too much in, it will mark the leather. There you go. Patch in the Alcantara to the back now.
So you're gluing it in a curve, similar concept to how you glued this in a curve?
Yep, exactly the same.
Like putting a little shape in it?
Yep. And then you want to match up your centre notches. And if you flip it over, and then you can just trim any excess Alcantara that's around this corner here.
I think the blade is dull. Hang on. You have a whole pot of... How many years of blades is that?
Probably 3 or 4 years of blades. We've all got our own individual ones on our desk, so we've got a hell of a lot of them kicking around.
Then what do you do with them?
We've not got that far yet.
Can I have a pot of razor blades to make something out of?
Yeah, of course you can.
Thank you so much. God, look at that. We can make some razor blade Damascus.
Okay, so now we're going to be attaching this back panel to the rest of the bag.
This is a serious bit of the assembly, isn't it? Once we've done that, we're going to have the full shape of the bag.
Almost, yep.
I tried to let go of the treadle, and then it kept going, and then I tried to lift it up, and it kept going worse. I think I broke the sewing machine.
No, it's fine.
That was a very, very stressful stitch. We're now about to do the last bit of stitching, the final binding around the edge of the flap, the back bottom of the bag, then it's finishing touches and we're done. I made that. Alice, I'm just so grateful. Thank you so much for teaching me how to make this. This is why I love making stuff, because it's just so satisfying to get to. Thank you. Thank you to Alice and the Wesley Richards team. This is a bag that I'm going to treasure for life, hopefully hand it down the generations. This is something that's going to make me smile for a very long time.